So it's Ken again. So welcome to my garden again. Today we're going to be working with the anatomy trains, specifically the deep frontal line, the lateral lines, and the superficial front and back lines. So let's get started. So we're going to coordinate all this with the breathing, nice diaphragmatic breathing. So let's get into the breathing. So place one hand under the chest, the other hand onto the belly. Breathing in. So we went through this in a few of the previous other films, so we won't go into it in too much detail. If you want more detail on this breathing, go back to some of the films that have been posted over the last few weeks. So breathing in. Put the hand on your belly to rise with the in-breath. Breathing out the hand on the belly, fall with the out-breath. Breathing in, we don't want this big, we don't want a major rising and falling hand on the chest. Really feel like you're breathing into that area that's about 3 fingers below the belly button and in the center of your body. Imagine a ball, they're about the same size as a golf ball. As you breathe into it, feel it grow to about the size of you. Breathing out, it shrinks. Breathing in, it grows. It's this ball growing and shrinking in your belly. It pushes the hand on the belly out, which you should feel it pushing towards your back as well. So take the hand off your chest and place it onto your lower back, just the back of the hand. As you breathe in here, you want the hand on the belly and the hand on the back to rise. With the in-breath, breathing out the hand on the belly and the back, fall down. The hand on the back doesn't rise as much as the hand on the belly, but you want to feel the hand on your back, you want to feel the hand on your back rising and falling with the rhythm of the breath. And just as we're stood here, not really moving, I want you to try to make the out-breath a little bit longer than the in-breath. You really shouldn't be able to hear the breath. The breath should be nice and nice, deep, diaphragmatic breathing. So when you breathe in to here, well, you can't really breathe into that ball in your belly. The lungs don't go down that far. But when you breathe in, imagine you're breathing into the diaphragm, the muscles underneath the lungs, that dome-shaped sheet of muscles inverts like that. And that draws air into the lower, larger half of the lungs. And as the diaphragm pushes down, the pelvic floor pushes down as well, or the pelvic bowl. The pelvic floor made up of, I think it's about 16 different muscles. It holds all the internal organs in here. It connects to the pubic bone, to the sitting bones, and to the inside of the sacrum. So it's like a hammock that holds all these internal organs in. And as you breathe into the diaphragm pushes down, pushes all those internal organs down, and pushes the pelvic floor down. So you're engaging all the muscles around here. Okay, so that's the first bit we're going to work on. So I want you to work, as I said, we're going to work on the anatomy trains. We're going to work on the deep frontal line, the lateral lines, the superficial front and back lines, and the arm lines as well. The arm lines, they travel down from your fingers to the shoulders and into this nerve plexus in between the shoulder blades. So we'll get this out of the way first, this one. So arms out to the side. I just want you to reach one set of fingers over towards the side and feel that arm pulling across the back. Then reach the other fingers over to the other side. Feel those arms pulling. This is very subtle. You have to really relax in between the shoulder blades. Get this movement. Feel them pulling. So you're feeling that connectedness between the two arms. That connectedness between the two arms. It's very, very subtle. You want to feel that connectedness. We worked on it a little bit when we did the standing in the video I posted a couple of days ago. Feel that turtle back, that connections across the back. Okay? So we have those connections across the arms. Okay, so let's feel the connection of the lateral lines at the sides of the body. The lateral lines run from little toes all the way up, inside the ribs and into the neck here. These are what give you stability when you're walking in a straight line. So let's work with these. Again, we worked on this in a previous film as well, so I won't go into too much detail here, but let's feel the bands on the side. So feel, you can mirror me here, so I'm going to work with my left side here. So I want you to grip the floor with a little toe and pull your head over to that side. And you feel a lengthening all at the other side of the body. Make sure you're not flaring your out or curving in like that. Lengthening. So when you relax, it contracts back. And then grip the floor with the other toe and feel yourself pulling your head over to that side. And feel this lengthening all at the other side of the body. Again, like the lengthening of a spring or an elastic band or a resistance band. So when you relax, it contracts back. And just pulling from side to side. And you can push down with the opposite hand as well. Or grip with the hand and pull the head down. As well as you grip them with the little toes. So engaging the arm bands as well. Okay. So the front and back lines. Okay, so I want you to push down with that ball in the belly, push down through the heels, push up through the body, push the head up and back. Feel a lengthening all at the front of the body, from the little toe, or from the toes, all at the front of the body, up into the neck. And again, make sure you're not flaring the ribs out, sticking the chest out, or curving in the lower back, stretching up the front of the body. So when you relax, it contracts back. Then keep more weight towards the heels, but grip the floor with the toes and pull your chin towards your chest without hunching the upper back or bulging out the lower back. Feel a stretch of the back of the body from the toes, along the soles of the feet to the top of the head, the forehead, and down to the nose. So when you relax, it contracts back. You're just pushing and pulling the head up and back. So you feel the strength of the earth behind this movement. Engaging the whole body. Engaging your core. Okay, and relax. So think about those 4 lines, the lateral lines and the superficial front and back lines, as kind of like the ropes on a tent, keeping you upright, or like the cables, still suspension cables on a suspension bridge, keeping you nice and upright. Okay, so let's work with the deep frontal line now, or the core. The core, most people think of the core as just all the muscles inside here, but the deep frontal line is more than that. It travels all the way up from the arch of the feet, up the inside of the legs, connects to the pubic bone, so connects to the connect to the pelvic floor. Then you have one that travels up the back of the body, from the arches, or from the heels, all the way up the back of the body, up to the sitting bones, and then into the sacral attribution, the sacral iliac, and the inside of this joint. Okay, so it's connecting the pelvic floor, those 16 muscles, that pelvic bowl. Okay, then it travels up, inside, it encases all the internal organs, travels up into your neck and into the top. Okay, so let's work with the deep frontal line. So I want you to imagine you have like resistance bands, like elastic bands or springs traveling up from inside the feet, from the arches up to the pubic bone. So elastic bands or resistance bands. Standing tall, and just feel the one on your. So again, you can mirror me here. I'm going to use my left side, so you can go down on your right. Okay, just feel this one on the side shortening, pulling to that side, and then pump from the heel towards the toe to push up. Feel it lengthening, and feel it shortening. The other side, pulling down. Make sure the knee stays in line with the toes. Feel the stability of these lateral lines here. So you're going from this equilateral triangle down to is it an isosceles triangle? The triangle up to the pubic bone, equilateral, or not quite, and then sinking down into an isosceles. Pump it back. So we worked on the pump of the foot, worked on the pump in a few of the previous other films. Those triangles on the feet. So rolling from the rear triangle to the front triangle to pump up, lengthen, and back down. So feel this lengthening, contracting from the inside of the ankles to the arch, or from the arch to the ankle up to the pubic bone. Lengthen. Okay, so let's add another dot along here. So we go through the pelvic floor to the sacrum, the inside of the sacral attribution, or the sacral iliac, the part of the spine that makes up the pelvis. So you have a dot going. You have these lines going up the inside of the body, the inside of the legs, up to the pubic bone, and then through to the sacral attribution. Feel them short. On one side, lengthen, shorten, lengthen. So really feel this. Don't let your mind wander away from what you're doing here. Bring your mind totally focused, totally connected, mind, body in this moment. So from the arches, up the inside of the legs to the pubic bone, to the sacrum. Lengthening, shortening. To help you balance here, you can imagine you're balancing something on the top of the head. We didn't go through the full checklist at the start, but head as if suspended from above. Sink the chest, round the back, sink the ribs, fill the back, pelvic area tilt forwards, hanging down for this lengthening. Imagine you're balancing a bowl of water on the top of the head. You don't want to spill this down the face. Lengthening. And shortening. You can put the breath into this, so breathing in. Breathing out. Okay, so add another one now. So we're going to go through. So we come up the inside of the legs to the pubic bone, through to the sacral attribution. Now let's go up. Let's go up from the inside of the sacrum up to the bottom of the ribcage here, the sternum here. So you're passing through the dantian, deep through the deep core. As I said, the deep frontal line travels up through all these internal organs, encasing all these internal organs. The anatomy trains we've worked on in other videos here is the connective, made up of connective tissue, that myofascia, the white tissue inside the body, that surrounds and connects everything inside the body. And you have 12 anatomy trains inside your body that give you all different planes of movement. So working with the deep frontal line, your core. This is your your kind of your guardian angel on the inside, keeping you upright, always stopping gravity from pulling you into the heat onto the floor. Okay. So travel up from the inside of the ankles or the arch of the feet up to the pubic bone, to the sacral joint, through the pelvic floor, and up through to the bottom of the sternum. So shortening, lengthening, shortening. Breathing in, breathing out. In. And let's take it up from the inside of from the bottom of the sternum up into the neck, in front of the neck. Lengthening, shortening. Breathing in, and breathing in. As I said earlier, the deep frontal line goes up into the tongue. It's a tongue on the roof of the mouth. Breathing in, lengthening, shortening. Breathing in, breathing out. In. Lengthening, short, breathing in and breathing out. So we're doing this now, it's quite mechanical because we are imagining this lengthening, or we're not imagining this lengthening and shortness happening inside the body, but it's quite mechanical. So let's try and loosen this up, let's try to relax it down. So imagine, as we've talked about in other films and previous films, your imagination is a very powerful tool, very, very powerful tool in what we're doing here. The nervous system, the central nervous system, the somatic nervous system, the nervous system, the central nervous system and the somatic nervous system don't know the difference between imaginary and real. So the better you imagine something, the better you imagine, I can't talk today. The better you imagine something, the more the nervous system will instruct the body into the positioning to perform the tasks that you are imagining. So I want you to imagine here that you're standing up on something floating on water. Imagine you're standing up in a rowing boat, or on a floating platform, on a raft. And you're pushing from side to side, so you feel that sinking down and that pushing back up, being swallowed by the water and then being spat back out with this buoyant feeling. So if you were standing up on something floating on water, you wouldn't be standing rigid or falling, you'd be nice relaxed. At the same time, imagine you're balancing that bowl of water or a cup of tea on the top of the head. So again, if you were balancing a cup of tea on the top of the head, you wouldn't be rigid. So it wouldn't spill down your face, you'd be relaxed. And these visualizations help the body to get into the right positioning, the right amount of relaxation and tension, so you can feel the elasticity of the connective tissue. Breathing in, and breathing out, breathing into your center, breathing in, breathing out. Lengthening those bands, feel the bands on the sides of the body, giving you stability. And from side to side, so we have the lateral lines on the side of the body. Interestingly enough, we kind of have the iliotibial tract, this tract that runs up, or the IT band that runs from just underneath the knee up to the hip here, from the tibia to the ilium, or the pelvis. The iliotibial tract doesn't exist when you're born. You're not born with the iliotibial tract, this connective tissue. And if you never walk, this band never develops, or these bands never develop. It's an adaptation to stop your knees from wobbling or from collapsing in or out when you are walking or standing. Breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. Let's try and bring the arms into this now. So I want you to drop the weight down onto your, so I'm going to drop down to my right leg, you can mirror me and drop down to your left leg. And as you breathe in here, push over to the other leg, and push up the opposite hand. And breathing out, lowering it down. And breathing in, pushing across, push up the other hand. Breathing out, lowering it down. Breathing in. So you're pushing your arm up here. You're not just lifting your arms up using your shoulders, you're pushing your arms up. So you're bringing those arm bands into it now. We worked on at the start of this film. Breathing in. And breathing out. Make sure the ribs don't flare out, the back doesn't curve in as you're doing this. And really feel yourself pushing your arm up. So if you stop pushing across your arm, it will stop going up. So you're rolling from the heels towards the toes as you push up. Breathing in, and just bringing ever such a slight waist turn into this now. Ever such a slight waist turn. Somebody looking at you should barely be able to see it, but you can feel a slight waist turn. So you're working with your spiral lines now. I'm not going to go into great details of the spiral lines in this film. I'll work on those in another film because the spiral lines are pretty cool. I'm working with the functional lines as well, really give you the rotational movement of the body. Breathing in, breathe out. Just working with the core as well. Using frontal line. Breathing in. Breathe out. Really feel yourself pushing your arm up. Pushing your arm up. You have this kind of chain reaction of muscles working up through the body. One muscle fires and it relaxes. Breathing in. You're not just lifting your arms up using your shoulders here. In fact, you get to the point where you're just about to raise your shoulder, but instead of activating the shoulder, you relax the shoulder. So the shoulder starts to sink down. The hand, the fingers continue to travel up. You have this shock wave traveling up through the body. You have to imagine you're standing up on something floating in water, so sinking down, pushing out. Feel this pushing up, going through the body, up through the body, out to the fingertips. Like water traveling up a hose, like a garden hose or a fire hose. The hose moves because of the water pressure traveling up through it. Excessive muscular effort or tension in the body acts like a kink or a bend in that hose. It stops the flow of this energy. So the muscles fire just to lift the arm up and relax. It's like the cracking of a whip here. You really start to feel the resistance of the air. Your arm moving up through the air. And there is a resistance to the air. This isn't kind of Tai Chi, hippie mumbo jumbo. The air does have a resistance. You know, the air is made up of lots of different gases: oxygen, nitrogen, helium, carbon, methane. There's dust particles, pollens, mold spores, and tens, if not hundreds of other trace elements in this thing that we call our air, our atmosphere. So really feel yourself moving through this soup. Feel its resistance. And you can imagine you're moving through something thicker than the air. Imagine you're moving through water. Feel its resistance, and again, your imagination, a very powerful tool. The better you can imagine, the better the nervous system will instruct the body to get into the positioning to perform these tasks, these feats that you're imagining. Breathing in. And breathing out. You have the feeling here as if you're tracing your fingers around a circle. Tracing your fingers around a circle. But you're not doing it with your shoulder, you're doing it with your waist and this connection with the ground. Tracing your fingers around a circle. Breathing in, breathing out. Again, you're not tracing this circle with your shoulder. It's tracing it with the whole body. It's kind of like, I think it's called, if I remember it from school, a pentagraph. You have I think it's 2 or 3 pieces of wood, pin on one end, a pivotal or a fulcrum in the middles. You add a pencil to the other end and you trace the pin around a shape or a drawing, and it draws a drawing a different size at the other side of the pentagram. Pentagraph, not pentagram, pentagraph. Pen, 5, 4. Anyway, go do your own research. It's the feeling I get here. You're drawing this circle using your waist, or that board in the belly, and your connection with the ground. Breathing in. Breathing out. Put this into both arms. Breathing in. And out. Raise hands. Breathing in. Raise hands with your core. Your deep frontal line, your lateral lines, and your superficial front and back lines. So nice and upright, tongue and roof of mouth. Breathing in. Feel like you're sinking down into the ground, into that water. And pushing up. Feel the resistance of the air. Moving through water. Nice deep diaphragmic, abdominal breathing. Breathing out. Breathing in. And do this for as long as you like. It's nice. You see this move at the start of most Tai Chi forms. It's said to be a really good exercise for the digestive system. Breathing in, but only if you are kind of putting all these points into place that we've been working on up until this point. Breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in. Take to the side, breathing in. falling. Here. Breathing out. In. And then just relax. Dropping it down. Just loosening out. You don't have to do this one. You can see how the moves led up to this warm-up that we did a few days ago in the film, the tree swaying breeze. Okay, so again, you can do that for as long as you like, or not at all. Okay, so that's my film. So practice it, or don't, as I've been saying in the other film, but make sure you are practicing something. Don't let your immune system, when your body slows down, your immune system slows down as well. So we are at the moment, we're in lockdown here, kind of in our lockdown in our home, so don't get sluggish, don't just sit around watching TV, get your body moving. When your body slows down, your immune system slows down as well, and we really are going to be needing our immune systems. So don't get sluggish, okay? Bye for now.